Welcome to another edition of Let's Play WWE 2015. Before we get into the broadcast tonight, I just want to mention that instead of making a video about it, I'm just going to mention it here. The Let's Play series about Ring of Honor, I decided to call it quits and not bring it back. But I will say this, that once with TEW 2016 right around the corner, you will be seeing new video series very soon on this channel, and also some very special Let's Play video series involving TEW and me playing with other people that I know. So till then, it's just going to be WWE. But I will say this, you won't have to wait that long. But that's then, this is now. And for now, let's jump right into this episode of SmackDown, the first episode of SmackDown for 2015, as all we have to do is throw on a pre-show match for this week's episode, and then we jump right into the broadcast. As Jack Swagger will go one-on-one on the pre-show against Manu. Jack has, well, I've really used Swagger just as good as WWE does, which doesn't really say much. But either way, Jack on the pre-show defeats Manu to kick this week's show off. And now we jump right into the broadcast with Daniel Bryan calling out Stephanie McMahon. And Daniel and Stephanie have unscripted freedom in this segment, as I want them to pour as much emotion into this segment as possible, because I feel like that is what's needed to put forth the idea of what Bryan could be risking getting back in the ring. This, I'm almost 100% sure, is before his big injury that actually did cause him to retire. But either way, it's still a risk after the, I want to say neck injury, either neck injury or shoulder injury he had following WrestleMania 30. But either way, Stephanie and Daniel go back and forth with each other without a script. And Stephanie finally caves in and makes the main event tonight. It is Daniel Bryan versus Bray Wyatt. Daniel isn't going in the ring in his first match back against Bray Wyatt, and the announce team of Scott Hudson, Jerry Lawler, and Jason Albert put over the fact that we'll see Daniel step into the ring for the first time since returning from his injury against the Eater of Worlds, Bray Wyatt. But that's the main event, and we have a little bit before the main event, specifically about an hour and 40 minutes before the main event, and a lot of matches to get to before then. So let's kick it off with the first match tonight, and that is Sami Zayn versus Justin Gabriel. And Sami gets the victory, which is something that he really hasn't done that frequently since making his debut on the main roster. But this is also Sami's first match of 2015. So who knows, maybe, just maybe, Sami could become, or could be on his way to improving the depth of the mid-card of the mid-card and making 2015 a very eventful year for Sami Zayn. And WWE in general, because if you remember, I said in one of the previous videos that 2015 will be the year that you remember the old saying, anything can happen in the WWE. And speaking of anything happening, we go back, this is when the announcers here are talking about what happened to end Monday Night Raw last week with John Cena being attacked by Elijah Burke, The Miz, and Alex Riley. And they question what the reason was for The Miz and Alex Riley attacking John Cena. Speaking of Alex Riley, Dolph Ziggler makes his entrance for his upcoming match, and Alex Riley comes out randomly, and it seems like Alex is going to be standing at ringside scouting Dolph Ziggler for his match, or in his match. And Dolph goes one-on-one with R-Truth and comes out the victor against R-Truth here tonight on SmackDown to get Dolph his first win of 2015. Speaking of people getting their first win, we move into the next segment, and if you remember correctly, last Monday on Raw, Cesaro and Kid offered a challenge to any tag team in the WWE, and it was accepted by the New Day, as New Day wants their shot against Kid and Cesaro and the tag team titles. And if you remember also, I said either the tag team match will take place on SmackDown or next week on Raw, and I'm right here to tell you that the match will take place New Day, Kofi, and Big E against Cesaro and Kid next week on Monday Night Raw for the WWE World Tag Team titles. And speaking of last week on Raw, another reason why Raw can't miss television was because Mickie James returned to Monday Night Raw, to WWE last week on Raw. And this is Mickey's first match since returning to the company against Tamina. And Mickie defeats Tamina with a chick kick. And following the match, Mickie gets a microphone. The reason why I breezed through that is because they all led to this one segment. In this segment, Mickie explains why she came back and where she's been since leaving and what she's been doing, and the fact that the WWE Divas division is about to follow the rest of the world as the women's resurgence is about to begin, and women are about to take a more prominent role in this company, and Mickie is going to be the one that leads them down this path. But before Mickie can continue on what she means about woman's resurgence, Natalya comes out, and much like the segment on Monday Night Raw, Natalya and Mickie just stare each other down, and Natalya holds up the WWE Divas Championship and says, pointing to the title, "This is mine. This is mine." And Mickie says, "Not for long." Tensions are building in the Divas division with Natalya and Mickie James. And now we move backstage with Dolph Ziggler, who is met by Alex Riley. And Alex says, Dolph, before you walk away, let me just ask you. Are you open to compromise? You see, we attacked John for a reason last week on Raw. And with Elijah walking away from WWE, we need a new partner. Don't answer it now. You don't have to give me an answer now. Just give us an answer by Raw on Monday. If you're going to join us or not. Speaking of, as I mentioned before, Cesaro and Kid get to go one-on-one, get to team up in a tag team title match next week against the New Day on Monday Night Raw. But first, they have to get past the prime time players. But Titus O'Neil, and I'm sorry, give me a second. Cesaro and Kid won this match by disqualification, but it was at a price because Eric Rowan and Luke Harper ran in and attacked Cesaro and Kid, causing a DQ and allowing Cesaro and Kid to get the victory over primetime players via disqualification. But what happens next week with the New Day in a tag team title defense? Will we see Harper and Rowan again? Why did Harper and Rowan attack Cesaro and Kid? I think that question's pretty easy to answer. But I guess you have to wait and see, because that's exactly what the announcers discuss right here. Is Bray Wyatt still pulling the strings, or are Harper and Rowan acting on their own? And if they are, is this their way of saying they want a tag team title shot? And fact is, before I continue, I wanted to make a point that there's a reason why I said, as Alex Riley, to Dolph Ziggler, you have till Monday to give us an answer, because people who like Dolph Ziggler will tune in to see what his answer is on Monday. I might be wrong, but that just seems like my mindset of getting people, even people of fans of particular wrestlers, to tune in. At least you're getting some people to tune in. Am I wrong? Am I right? Yes, it may have been smart of me to promote Daniel Bryan's return match for this week's episode of SmackDown, but let's put it this way: that's why you make it the opening segment. That's why you make the main event in the opening segment, because then you give people the opportunity to tell their friends Daniel Bryan is back tonight in the main event. And speaking of people who are back, when was the last time you saw AJ? As she talks about her feud, her rivalry with Paige, and where this is leading for the both of them. And now we move backstage where Daniel Bryan encounters his wife Bree, and Bree is about to say something to Daniel, but Daniel says stop. You know one thing about me, and that is, I love what I do. And you have to let me do this. Because I know I won't be able to do this forever. But I need to prove to myself, and to Stephanie, and to Triple H, and even to you, that I can still do this. And that's what I'm going to prove tonight. Now, unless you're here to support me, I need to get ready for my match. I want to know right now, pause to the video, drop a comment. What do you think about that last segment? And where do you think it's going with Daniel Bryan? Because I know where I'm going with Daniel Bryan. It's just a matter of you know where I'm going with Daniel Bryan. I'm gonna explain the logic behind this match, handicap match with Fandango and Flex Freeman against the Big Show. Well, let's put it this way: he's the Big Show. It doesn't matter if he's been doing this for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 15 years, 10 years, 5 years. It doesn't matter if he ain't what he used to be. The one thing that doesn't change is who he is. He is and always will be the Big Show. And the fact is, if you don't know, if you've never seen the Big Show compete in a handicap match, then you've never seen WCW, because there was a time for at least a 6-month period where all Big Show did was compete in the handicap matches. And that is where that comes from, because he's on TV, isn't he? Does it really matter what he's doing? Nope. But he's on TV, and he's winning. And this... Now we move forward with the next segment as we jump back to Scott Hudson and his cohorts as they promote the fact that for the first time since Night of Champions, we will see the return of Roman Reigns this Monday night on Raw. Now I know some of you might not want to watch the video. Well, if you hate him that much, you got more problems than just not wanting to watch a video. We move to the next segment as AJ comes out to do color commentary for the next match, as you got it, Paige is in the next match. Paige against Emma. And you're gonna tell, and if you're one of those people that sit here and say, oh, 37 really? This game isn't based on overall ability, especially in WWE. WWE isn't based on performance. WWE is based on overness. Emma's not popular. Because, like I said in a previous video, though you might believe everyone has a WWE network and everyone loves NXT and everyone watches NXT, that's not true. Everyone doesn't watch NXT, number one. Everyone doesn't like NXT, number two. Number three, everybody doesn't have the WWE network. And number four, even if you do have the network and you do watch NXT, that doesn't mean you remember Emma from when she was down there, or even liked Emma when she was down there. And much like WWE would do after Paige wins her match, Paige and AJ face off at ringside. And what stops them from getting physical? Well, instead of having security come out, I have the people in the ring announcers area, cameramen, referees. I even have Albert get up and walk over to get in between them to stop them from getting physical. Why? That's how much they hate each other. WWE can't even have referees and security run in from backstage. It would take too much time and the two of them would go at each other. So that's why I had to handle the situation with what I have, and what I have is announcers, ringside attendants, cameramen, referees, etc. And that's how I handled it, by having them come up and hold them apart, stopping Paige and AJ from fighting each other once again. And now we move forward with the next segment, as it is Bray Wyatt promoting his main event match tonight against Daniel Bryan on SmackDown. And what he will do to Daniel, saying that this is maybe Daniel's return, but it will be Daniel's last match once he's done with him, because he will suffer the same fate as Kane. For the last time on this episode of SmackDown, we jump back to Scott Hudson and his cohorts at the broadcast position as they tell us that this Monday night on Raw, we will see Dean Ambrose go up against the current Intercontinental Champion, The Miz, in an Intercontinental title defense Let me rephrase that. The Miz will be defending the Intercontinental title this Monday night on Raw against the Lunatic Fringe, Dean Ambrose. This is punishment from the Authority for, well, Miz being a coward and not facing or not going up against the Wyatts, not interviewing Bray Wyatt like Stephanie wanted him to. Daniel Bryan defeats Bray Wyatt in the main event after a distraction from Kane. I am well aware I could have done this match a whole lot better. Now, hindsight being 20/20, but the reason why I chose this match, this ending, is it protects both Daniel and Bray. The other way it would have been is having the Wyatts attempt or jump Daniel and have Kane save him, but why make Daniel look weak or get attacked in his return to television or in-ring action? And Kane now, see, Kane's music distracted Bray long enough for Daniel to take advantage of it with the running knee and get the victory. But it was Kane's actual appearance following the match that made Bray Wyatt, as you see, Bray's in the ring. He looks up when he hears the crowd start to roar, and Kane is coming to the ring. Now, once again, let me rephrase that. I apologize. I guess I'm maybe talking too fast or thinking faster than my mouth is moving. Kane's music starts to play following his match against Daniel, and Kane this time makes his way out to the ring. Bray stays in the ring until the last second, and then ducks out the far side of the ring and escapes through the crowd. But Kane and Bray don't take their eyes off one another as SmackDown goes dark, and ending the show with a face-off between Kane and Bray Wyatt. In terms of last week's episode of SmackDown, this week's episode was a little bit better, but we're still not where we normally are with Raw, where we only increase our popularity with Raw. Now with SmackDown, we're doing both, increasing and decreasing, as you see. SmackDown. This show increased our popularity in 18 regions, and decreased our popularity in 16. And we got a 72, a solid rating. And we're improving by the day, but still not where I want to be in terms of SmackDown, especially comparable to Raw. And as you also saw earlier in the show, that TV static was meant to happen to make you remember what that usually means. And I hope you know, and I hope you remember what that means, because he'll be back soon. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like. And comment in the comment section below what your favorite part of the show was, what your least favorite part of the show was, what you thought I could have done better, and what you would have done different if this was you. Or maybe, just maybe, simply, what do you think I could do to actually only increase in popularity on SmackDown like I've been doing on Raw on a weekly basis now? Let me know down below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content just like this that you can only find right here at Wrestling Express. Till next time. Later.